Yo, what's up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick recap as to what happened during, of course, our last day's matches, that being day 4 of week 3 of stage 4 of the CDL, as well as what you can expect going into, of course, day 1 of our return to LAN, that being, of course, the stage 4 major. Now, kicking things off on Sunday, we, of course, had the Paris Legion taking on the Seattle Surge. You guys know I was expecting the Surge to walk away with the Game 5 victory. I thought they would kind of ride out the momentum that they had after beating Optic, one of the best teams in the game, and that just didn't happen. Paris won 3-1, and Paris looked great in this matchup. Seattle really didn't look very good, and that's that. Of course, in our next matchup, we had the Ultra taking on the Subliners, and the Ultra thunderclapped the Subliners, honestly. You guys know I was expecting this one to go 3-1 in favor of the Subliners, just given their form. I thought they'd be the best team in their group, but I was proven wrong very quickly. Ultra looked really, really dominant in this series, and they got the 3-0 victory, as many were expecting them to, honestly. I wasn't expecting this. I didn't really get a chance to watch Major 3, and I was kind of in and out during Stage 3 as it was. You guys know I was really busy finishing up school for graduation, so I missed a few matches in Stage 3, so I didn't really get to see everything with NYSL with Hydra. I've been a little bit out of the loop in that sense, but yeah, that came as a shock. So Ultra looked really good going into the major. I think, honestly, with those 4 players, I don't think they'll really have much of a downward spiral going from, of course, online to LAN, because all 4 of those players have always just been very skilled at Call of Duty. Cammy and Bance, of course, have a lot of LAN history, and I don't think Insight and CleanX will really have much issue adjusting to LAN. They've played on LAN before at, of course, Black Ops 4 champs, but I think they'll be fine. Of course, in our last matchup of the day, we had Optic Chicago taking on the LA Thieves. You guys know I was backing Optic Chicago to win this 3-2. I thought that they would kind of see a dip in their form after the Seattle match, but I did recognize the fact that they probably were going to come out and try to make a statement after such a demoralizing loss, and that's what they did. They beat the Thieves pretty convincingly. It was a 3-1, and the Thieves honestly just didn't look like themselves. Slasher and Hook had bad series, and I don't really expect that to continue going into LAN. As I saw in, of course, the 100 Thieves update video that they usually do at the end of the stage before the major, Slasher only had about 5 days turnaround to practice with the team, so it was kind of fly by night kind of situation. They didn't really have a lot figured out. They've taken some time now, so I think going into the, of course, LAN environment, they will definitely be in a position to succeed. But that match was kind of doomed from the outset because of the lack of practice. Now, just looking at the first matchup on LAN, we're going to have a very interesting one. We kick things off with, of course, the London Royal Ravens taking on the Seattle Surge. And personally, I'm not really too sure what to expect in this matchup. My heart says Surge, but my mind says Ravens. Ravens have looked really good, closing out the stage with a dub. Seattle, of course, closed out with a loss. So personally, I think Ravens I think it'll translate well to LAN for them. But of course, Gunless has always been a great LAN player, as is Prasini, as is Octane, and Classic as well. He's always been a pretty solid LAN player. And, you have 2 people on London who don't really have a ton of LAN experience, of course, that being Paul X and Afro. Of course, Alex and Sean, they have a lot of LAN experience. They've been in the Pro League for multiple years. They're on that Reciprocity team. They're on Unilad. They've just been on a lot of teams that played on LAN, so they have experience. But Afro and Paul X, Paul's played at some of the Challengers Opens. Of course, he, I believe, won the last one in LA. Of course, the LA home series, I'm pretty sure he won that one. But they don't really have a ton of LAN experience like the other players in the lobby do. So honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe this will come back to bite London, or it'll help them out because obviously Afro hasn't been playing on US servers, right? He's been playing from the UK, so it might help them. But as it stands, I just think that London in this game is a better team. They're a little bit faster, and speed is really kind of the determinant between these lower tier teams. Usually the faster team wins. So for that reason, I say London. And scoreline, I'll call it a 3-1, just because I think London's hard point and, of course, their control has been really good. And Seattle's has been pretty hit or miss, if I'm being honest. So I think likely London will probably get better in their search and destroy too. They're getting very close, of course, in the last stage, stage 4, but they just couldn't kind of close out some of the search and destroys. So I think going into the major, they will have game plan for that. And I think there's potential that this could be a 3-0. Of course, if Seattle come out kind of flat in the respawns, Persini has some off games, Classic has some off games, because their sub duo's inconsistency has been their Achilles heel this entire time. So if that comes to fruition again, it could be a 3-0 for the Ravens. But as it stands, I think it's 3-1 for the Ravens likely. And if not, if it goes to a game 5, I still think Ravens win. Now, in our second matchup, we will see the Battle of LA. We see LA Gorillas taking on the LA Thieves. Personally, I think the Thieves walk away with this series. I think it's a 3-1. I just don't think this LA Gorillas roster has it. I don't know what it necessarily is, but I just don't think they have the firepower to take down a team like LA Thieves, who is really just packed to the brim with animals, right? I mean, Slasher, Hook, Ken, and TJ, they've been playing on LAN for years. Of course, Slasher and Hook and TJ, they've been playing for God knows how long. I mean, AW days, like Ghost Days. I mean, these guys have been playing forever. These are names that you've always heard in the scene. Of course, Hook has a lot of experience playing LAN on Halo as well. So these are guys with a lot of LAN experience. Obviously, the LAG guys always have a lot of LAN experience on their side as well. Apathy, Silly, Assault, and Cheen are some of our oldest vets in the scene still. But I just like the LA Thieves side. I think they're just a little bit stronger. They have a little bit more gunny on their side, if you will, and I think they get the dub tomorrow. I think it's a 3-1 for them as well. And of course, in our first of the two big matches, we of course have Optic Chicago taking on the Dallas Empire, and boy, oh boy, this one's going to be a hot potato. We have the Crim Six versus Formal Beef spilling over from the TL to IRL in this scenario. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I hope Chicago win this. I think they likely win at 3-1, given their form lately. Dallas, they've had their struggles with Vivid being added to this roster. It just doesn't seem like he's really that comfortable with the team yet. So with Chicago playing all year long and this team really being built for LAN, then Envoy saying last week that he thinks that Chicago has the worst internet in the league, which I could see since they're playing out of the hex quarters instead of their own homes where they would have a business line that's uninterrupted because it's just them living there, them with their significant others. Um, I could see that. So I think on land, Chicago will probably look a lot better. And I think they walk with 3-1 here. I think they beat Dallas, if I'm being honest with you. Dallas has looked really good in the last couple weeks, not going to lie. But I just think Chicago, given the strength of their roster and just the amount of time that they've had to kind of perfect their strategies and just their chemistry overall, I think they win this 3-1. Now, in our last matchup of the day, this one's going to be pretty interesting. We have the Subliners taking on the Rokkr. Rokkr have looked really good lately. And Subliners are, of course, playing with a substitute, that being Decimate in place of Asim. Asim obviously is having visa issues, as we all know, and he couldn't get to the U.S. in time for the major. So that's really unfortunate for the Subliners. They ended up picking up Desi. And I don't know. This series is really interesting to me. I'm going to have this one circled for sure. It's going to be a very interesting series to close the day out. I think Subliners still walk away with the dub, but I think it's probably in a game 5. I just like their core 3 of Clay, Mac, and Hydra. I think that core 3 is really, really strong. Then you have a player like Decimate to the roster who's been getting a lot of reps in on challengers. He's like the challengers king. Um, I think that's a recipe for success for the Subliners, if I'm being honest with you. The only thing that worries me is just the short turnaround, obviously, for this substitution of Decimate for, of course, Asim. I think Decimate was announced on Monday, so it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround. Um, I don't know. It could go either way, but as it stands, I just favor Subliners given their form and the way that their core 3 has been playing this year. Hydra, Placer, and Mac have just been on a different level in the last few weeks. And it's likely that they knew this was going to be the case throughout much of Stage 4, and those 3 have just been trying to pop off as much as they could because of it. And you could kind of see that in the gameplay, like Mac was trying a lot to get himself more comfortable on the map as that flex player. Clay's been kind of playing with his positioning a little bit more. He's been a lot more mobile on the map. And of course, Hydra has just been Hydra. So honestly, I like that core 3, and adding a player like Desi who's been dominating challengers all year long, I just don't see how they'd really fall off too much. Keeping that core 3 intact is the most important thing to me. A player like Asim obviously has his weight in gold, and I think you're going to see a big difference, like what he contributes to the team on a day-to-day basis. But I do think the Subliners will have enough firepower with that remaining core 3 to topple the Rokkr, barring, of course, an insane performance from Priest and Major Maniac. They're the 2 X factors in this series, in my opinion. Attach and Sandy, they are 2 very consistent sub players. Their sub duo is not the question. It's really the AR duo of Major and Priesta. Honestly, I think Major and Priest are two players who play very well on LAN. Same goes for Attach. Sandy doesn't have a lot of LAN experience, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. Um, I just think ultimately it comes down to teamwork, uh, chemistry, and really just game plans. So if Rokkr are really working their game plan to perfection, then they beat Subliners definitely. But as it stands, I just think Subliners, their adaptability, they're really good with adapting to things, and I think they'll come out hot, and I think they'll get the victory at the tail end of this series. But I do think it's going to go to a game five. I think it's going to be a real nail biter, and yeah, I think it's going to be a great series. So hope you guys enjoy all the COD tomorrow, my time today, your time. Hope you enjoy the return to LAN. I'm really, really excited to see the players back on LAN. No more of this online cap. No more people getting joked. I'm really excited to see LAN. So hope you guys enjoy all the COD. I'm going to be watching like a giddy child. Be sure to check out the call out if you want a super, 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 super quick preview of what to expect going into that day's matches. You can't watch the full video on my channel as usual. Hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night wherever you may be on this beautiful planet. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.